Professor Elena Reyes adjusted her lab coat and surveyed the university's botanical laboratory. Everything had to be perfect for today's elementary school visit. At 34, she'd hosted dozens of these educational tours, but something about introducing young minds to the wonders of plant biology always made her pulse quicken with anticipation. "Dr. Reyes, they're here," called Marcus, her graduate assistant, from the doorway. The room soon filled with the controlled chaos of 22nd graders, their wide eyes taking in the exotic plants and scientific equipment. Their teacher, Mrs. Donovan, attempted to organize them into the predetermined groups, while two parent chaperones helped corral the more enthusiastic explorers. Elena's attention was immediately drawn to a tall man with kind eyes and a 5 o'clock shadow, gently guiding a little girl with wild curly hair and bright yellow rain boots despite the clear sky outside. "Welcome to the University Botanical Research Center," Elena began, launching into her well-rehearsed introduction. "Today we'll learn how plants communicate, grow, and even defend themselves." The children were split into stations, rotating through different plant experiments. Elena found herself at the rapid growth demonstration, where time-lapse photography showed plants responding to stimuli. "This climbing vine can grow up to 4 inches in a single day when it senses something to climb," she explained, pointing to the specialized tendrils reaching toward a stake. Most children reacted with appropriate oohs and ahs, but the curly-haired girl in yellow boots stared intensely at the plant, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Why is it getting bigger, though?" she asked suddenly, her voice carrying across the lab. "I mean, where does the bigness come from? It doesn't eat sandwiches like I do." The question caught Elena off guard. Most kids asked if plants had feelings or why Venus flytraps ate bugs. This question was different, surprisingly sophisticated. "That's an excellent question." Elena knelt to the girl's eye level. "What's your name?" "I'm Mia Parker. I'm 7 3/4. "Well, Mia Parker, you've asked something scientists thought about for centuries. Plants make their own food through photosynthesis, using sunlight, water, and air. Plants eat air." Mia's eyes widened with wonder. "In a way, yes," Elena smiled. "They take carbon dioxide from the air and turn it into the materials they need to grow." The tall man, presumably Mr. Parker, moved closer, clearly interested in the conversation. "Sorry if she's derailing your presentation," he said with an apologetic smile that made Elena's stomach flutter unexpectedly. "Not at all. These are exactly the kinds of questions scientists ask." Elena stood, suddenly aware of his proximity. "I'm Dr. Elena Reyes." "Liam Parker," he replied, extending his hand. His grip was warm and firm. "Mia's dad and designated science homework helper, though I think she's already surpassing my knowledge." Their hands lingered a moment too long before Elena reluctantly pulled away to address Mia again. "Would you like to see something really cool? This plant actually moves when you watch it carefully." For the remainder of the session, Elena found herself directing her explanations to both Mia and Liam, noting how the father listened as intently as his daughter, occasionally catching Elena's gaze with an appreciative smile that made her cheeks warm. As the class prepared to leave, Mia tugged on Elena's lab coat. "Do you have plants that eat bugs?" "Dad says they exist, but I don't believe him." "We certainly do," Elena laughed. "But that's for another visit." "Could we?" Mia looked up at her father expectantly. "Dad, could we come back just us?" Liam's eyes met Elena's with a question in them. She surprised herself by saying, "We have weekend demonstrations open to the public. I'm usually here conducting them myself." "Maybe we'll see you then," Liam replied with a smile that suggested he was hoping for exactly that. As the group filed out, Elena watched them go, realizing this particular school visit had definitely gone off script, in the most intriguing way possible. "Retry you be." Elena found herself checking her reflection in the laboratory glass for the third time that Saturday morning. She'd never been so meticulous about her appearance for the weekend demonstrations before. "The developmental cycle of tropical pitcher plants," she muttered to herself, reviewing her notes although she knew the material by heart. The door to the lab swung open, and her heart skipped when she saw Liam and Mia Parker enter. "We found you," Mia announced triumphantly, bouncing on her toes. She wore a homemade t-shirt with "Future Scientist" written in uneven glitter letters. "I was hoping you would," Elena replied, smiling at Liam over Mia's head. "I saved 2 special seats for my most curious visitors." The demonstration room filled with weekend visitors, mostly parents with science-inclined children and a few university students. Elena began her presentation on carnivorous plants, but her eyes kept returning to the Parkers. Mia sat perched on the edge of her seat, absorbing every word, while Liam alternated between watching his daughter's reactions and studying Elena with undisguised admiration. When the formal presentation ended, most visitors drifted toward the display tables. Liam and Mia lingered behind. "That was awesome," Mia declared. "The plants are like superheroes with special powers." "That's a perfect way to think about it," Elena laughed. "Would you like to see something not on the regular tour?" Mia's enthusiastic nod made her curls bounce wildly. Elena led them to her research corner, where specialized growth chambers housed her experimental specimens. "These orchids are part of my research project," she explained, showing them delicate blooms in various stages of development. "They're beautiful," Liam said softly, standing close enough that Elena could detect his subtle cologne, something woodsy and understated. "Almost as pretty as you," Mia stated matter-of-factly, causing both adults to flush. "Mia," Liam whispered, embarrassed. "What? You said that on the phone to Uncle Jack last night. You said the plant lady was really pretty and super smart." Elena bit her lip to suppress a smile as Liam's face reddened further. "I can't argue with your dad's observational skills," Elena finally said, saving him from his daughter's unfiltered honesty. "Science is all about making accurate observations." Their shared laughter broke the tension, and before they left, Elena found herself agreeing to meet them the following weekend at the botanical gardens across campus. These weekend meetings soon became a cherished routine. Elena would prepare special science activities for Mia, while finding herself increasingly drawn to Liam's thoughtful questions and gentle humor. Their conversations expanded beyond botany to books, music, and eventually, their personal lives. Mia's mother left when she was 2. Liam confided one afternoon as they watched Mia sketching plant structures by the garden pond. Said parenthood wasn't what she signed up for. "I'm sorry," Elena said, instinctively placing her hand over his. "Her loss is immeasurable. It was hard, but we found our rhythm." He turned his hand to interlace his fingers with hers. "Mia doesn't remember a different life. She's extraordinary," Elena said. "You've done an amazing job with her." As autumn painted the botanical garden in amber and crimson, their outings occasionally extended to dinners after the scientific explorations. Elena found herself collecting Mia's drawings in a special folder and looking forward to Liam's text messages throughout her workdays. One evening, after Mia had fallen asleep on Liam's couch during a movie, he walked Elena to her car. "Thank you for today," he said, standing close in the cool evening air. "For what?" Explaining phototropism to a 7-year-old? "For being someone Mia looks up to. For being someone I." He hesitated, then gently brushed a strand of hair from her face. The kiss, when it came, was soft and questioning at first, then deepened with shared certainty. Elena felt something unfurling inside her, like one of her time-lapse plants reaching toward the sun. "I should go," she whispered against his lips, though she made no move to step away. "Or you could stay a little longer," he suggested, his arms still around her waist. As their lips met again under the observatory stars, Elena realized that something unexpected and beautiful was definitely growing between them. Something neither of them had planned, but both were increasingly eager to cultivate. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning, its subject line both thrilling and disruptive. "Grant approved. Amazonian Biodiversity Research Expedition." Elena stared at her computer screen, conflicting emotions churning inside her. 6 months in remote Brazil studying rare epiphytes, it was the professional opportunity she'd worked toward for years. Yet as she scrolled through the expedition details, her thoughts kept drifting to Liam's warm smile and Mia's infectious enthusiasm. 3 months into whatever this was between them, Elena had established a comfortable presence in the Parkers' life. Weekend science adventures had expanded to movie nights, helping with Mia's homework, and quiet evenings with Liam after Mia went to bed. Last week, she'd caught herself absent-mindedly browsing children's science books as potential Christmas gifts for Mia, despite it being only October. When her phone chimed with Liam's customary lunchtime message counting the hours until Friday. "Mia insists we try your pasta recipe again." Elena felt her chest tighten. That evening, she arrived at Liam's house with the grant letter tucked in her bag, rehearsing her explanation. Mia greeted her with a flying hug and immediately dragged her to see a new terrarium project. "Look, I made a mini rainforest like you showed me." Dad helped with the glass cutting part. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," Elena said, examining the carefully arranged moss and ferns. Liam appeared in the doorway, apron tied around his waist, the domestic sight making Elena's heart ache with what she now had to tell them. Later, after Mia was asleep, Elena and Liam sat on his porch swing, a blanket draped across their laps against the autumn chill. "I've been awarded the Amazonian Research Grant," she said quietly, passing him the letter. Liam read it silently, his profile illuminated by the porch light. 6 months, he finally said, his voice carefully neutral. "That's incredible, Elena. When do you leave?" "January 15th. She twisted her fingers together. "It's a career-defining opportunity. Of course you have to go." He turned to face her, taking her restless hands in his. "We'll be right here when you get back." The simplicity of his support unleashed the conflict she'd been suppressing. "But what about this? Us? Mia's already lost one woman in her life. I don't want to." "Hey," he said softly, cupping her cheek. "This isn't abandonment. It's your work, your passion. Mia adores you partly because you're this brilliant scientist who explores the world. I've never had to consider how my career affects anyone else before," Elena admitted. "It's always been just me and my plants. And now I find myself calculating how many of Mia's school events I'll miss. Wondering if you'll..." She hesitated. "If I'll what?" "If you'll still want me, when I return. If the distance will change things." Liam pulled her close, his heartbeat steady against her ear. 6 months is nothing compared to the time we could have ahead of us. Unless you're looking for an exit strategy? The question held vulnerability beneath its lightness. "No," she whispered against his chest. "The opposite, actually. I'm scared because this feels important. You and Mia feel important in a way I never anticipated." Their kiss tasted of promise and uncertainty, deepening with an urgency that acknowledged their newly limited time. As Liam led her inside to his bedroom, their whispered assurances and tender touches couldn't completely dispel the question hanging between them. How could something so newly bloomed withstand such an early frost? In the warm cocoon of his embrace afterward, Elena traced patterns on his chest. "I'll video call as often as the satellite connection allows. And I'll need Mia's scientific observations from home." "We'll manage," Liam murmured into her hair. "But I won't pretend I won't miss waking up like this." As December approached, their time together took on a bittersweet intensity. Elena found herself cataloging memories, Mia's delighted laugh during pond experiments, Liam's expression when he thought she wasn't looking, the way his hand fit perfectly against the small of her back. The departure date loomed, marking not an ending, they assured each other, but a temporary dormancy, a necessary season before the next bloom.